Now, the tricks that advises us, we go to that small section of buildings right there. However, my strategy radically differs from the tricks' advice. And the reason for that is because my experiences from staying in this area right here have never been pleasant. So what I am going to do in return is I'm going to quickly pick up all these items right here. But I'm immediately going to go towards the castle, or the outer walls of the cathedral, I guess you could call them. And my reasons for that are because it's a lot more manageable if you stay in that area, because the enemies will flock all the way over here. It's just a lot easier doing it that way, honestly. So, yeah, I apologize if I'm gonna make this area seem really boring, but I'm gonna keep running towards here anyways. So, I'm gonna start off by shooting at these kamikazes with my pistols. And we're just gonna hang out around here. Now, you probably don't want to stay in this area in particular, because this is where the kamikazes spawn, and eventually it's gonna switch over to clear skeletons. Now, the kamikazes, of course, can see you from a fairly long distance, and they'll probably start tracking you. So, it can be pretty good to just use the pistols for the time being, because they only have so much health, and they're fairly manageable as long as you keep them a fair distance away from you. If the situation gets too hairy, then you can just switch over to the single shotgun, because that has a fairly high rate of fire. It's pretty easy to take them out this way, so I'm gonna be doing just that. And the ones in the distance, of course, just gonna be using the pistols on. So yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna be staying in this area in general. And since the kamikazes sometimes cannot see you from a very long distance, you can probably tell from the little specks out there that they're all just flocking in that area. And there's a thunderstorm happening now. And as you can see, there's a bunch of things falling from the sky. A bunch of meteors, I guess. Those fireballs, or meteors, I guess if you really want to call them that, can hit you. But I think at the same time, they're sort of located in the area where the game expects you to be. So if you stand over here, you're probably not going to get hit by them. And that's another reason why you want to stay away from that center area in general. I'm gonna go ahead and look at all these kamikazes. Just look at them all. This is just a beautiful sight. I'm gonna wait for them to get close enough to me, and then we're gonna have a nice big boom boom. But for the time being, I'm just gonna shoot the ones that get too close to me. And of course, the level just loves to take care of them for me, so there is that. And yeah, now that they're all flocked together, birds of a feather shoot together, so we're gonna do just that. And take care of the giant clumps of them with our shooty booty. So there is that. Of course, sometimes they're a bit too far apart to be caught in their own explosion radiuses, and chances are they'll probably still be attacking you. And that's kind of unfortunate, but it really is a lot of fun if you can chain a lot of those kills together. And yeah, this is just gonna be my strategy. I don't really have much else to comment on. Just staying in that center area is never a good idea, in my book. True, it's quite possibly beatable. It's quite possibly manageable if you do it properly, but then again, I just prefer staying out here, to be perfectly honest. Take a look. And of course, if you shoot one, then you're going to attract the attention of a lot of them, so maybe I'll just snipe at them from my pistols from time to time, and everything should be happy. Eventually, as I said earlier, once you clear out most of the kamikazes, then they are going to start sending out clear skeletons. The clears, I think they have less good pathfinding than the kamikazes when it comes to shooting at them from a distance, so it might be a bit easier by then, but for the time being, we're just going to focus down these kamikazes, and then we'll observe. And then we're going to observe what the clear skeletons are exactly doing with their jobs and occupations by then. So there's a couple of them spawning around there right now, as you can see. A couple of them, and eventually they're all going to flock together. But we can look at this nice thunderstorm. We can also look at this beautiful cathedral, because the clear skeletons are probably going to pay absolutely no attention to this. I mean, we could shoot that guy from out here, but none of the other ones are really going to notice, because there's no other clear skeletons nearby. So yeah, I can just go ahead and maybe tour this cathedral. I don't exactly go behind the cathedral before, so I'm just gonna go on a tour of this for a while. And then we're probably just gonna double back and maybe see what's going on out there. And just shoot this guy once and then be on our merry way. I don't think this game is like the first encounter, where if you wander too far away from the map, then you start taking damage from the sun. I know that happens in a couple of levels in this game still, but I don't think it happens right now because, well, for one thing, this is a thunderstorm. That wouldn't exactly make sense. And as you can see, there's pretty much nothing behind the cathedral, and that really disappoints me because I think this would have been a really good opportunity to put like a secret back here maybe, but yeah, that doesn't exactly happen. So I'm just gonna run towards this hill, or maybe I won't. I'm not entirely sure if this level suffers from one thing in Serious Sam the Second Encounter, which has basically what I like to call infinite land, and what that is if you see a backdrop out in the distance and you want to reach that backdrop, you're never gonna reach it. Like, eventually, you're just gonna be caught in this infinite loop of wandering out in the distance, and I have tested this before, but not in this level per se. Like, it pretty much just shows you a hill, and I doubt this hill is climbable. Yeah, it teleports you away. Yeah, it's basically, Serious Sam the Second Encounter does things a little more smartly. So if you wander too far away from the map, then you're gonna get teleported away, but not so if you stand by the cathedral, and I like that feature a lot, so that way you can just snipe off the enemies at a very cheap distance. So we're gonna be doing just that. As I've mentioned multiple times, I'm just rambling right now. Yeah. This cathedral though, it looks pretty cool, you have to admit. And I'm not really sure if that's a bug shadowing feature, if that's just something lazy by the developers. I don't exactly know, but I can also look out in the distance and see what's going on. So again, we're just going to be sticking to this side of the castle while we deal with the enemies from a distance. And eventually they're going to start showing up. Yeah, as you can see, when they start to crowd up, there are a lot of clear skeletons. Now, as I said, they're not quite as smart as the kamikazes, so they don't tend to notice you, like, if you shoot one of their brethren. I mean, I could test it out again, just to be safe. Yeah, none of them really seem to notice that you're shooting at them, which is pretty silly, but, I mean, as you can see, some of them even have less health than they normally would, and this is because they occasionally get shot by the meteors. And I don't think the meteors end up really shooting the area of which you're supposed to be at, as the game intended you to be at originally, but this is my strategy, so I'm gonna go with it. Now I'm gonna quick save right here so I can at least attract the attention of clear skeletons. I might try to use the cannon on them, and eventually once you kill all the clear skeletons, then chances are they're going to start spawning biomechanoids at you, and the biomechs are not very pleasant to deal with, so now I'm going to start running backwards. And hopefully not get hit by as many projectiles as the game wants me to. And oh look, it spawns a couple of Zorgs, but they're completely oblivious to where we're running. That's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just gonna be wasting rockets here, honestly. Once you capture the attention of the clear skeletons, you might want to consider running away. That's just the best chance you have of surviving. And of course, there are the biomechs that I was talking about. Eventually, they're gonna spawn, and that's exactly the reason why I choose to stick by the castle walls. Because if the biomechs do catch you off guard, it can lead to pretty disastrous consequences. Also, this is the strategy I pretty much use all the time if I'm playing Serious Sam on multiplayer, because you could, if you die, you're just gonna spawn with all your health and ammunition back, and yeah, if you don't have, like, if you have spawn in place enabled, then that's pretty much just what's gonna happen. You can repeat that strategy over and over again. Just with me in single player, I still prefer doing things this way, so yeah. Once you capture the attention of the biomechs, who sort of have a higher field of view, I guess you could say, then you don't need to worry about anything. You're just gonna shoot at them one at a time, and then you shouldn't have to worry about anything else. Although this dude is a little bit more brave than the other ones, I guess you could say he's the smartest of them all, but at the same time, the other ones are fairly smart for just sticking in their predestined path where they expect them to be, where they expect me to be at least, because they don't really want to die. However, I'm not giving them much of a choice. Also, there's those Zorgs. The Zorgs out there, I'm not really sure what they're doing with their lives. They're just kind of standing around here trying to patrol the area. Yes, we're gonna get Serious Sam if we stand out here by these statues. And in case you couldn't tell, this is where we have to go. Oh god, I think I've caught the attention of these dudes. Yeah, I kinda panicked right there. And as you could plainly see, this Serious Bomb does not have infinite reach, as already explained by Natrixim before, so yeah, there is that. But I'm gonna capture the attention of these biomechs with my sniper rifling, and then I'm gonna shoot at them with the cannon. Ammo conservation is basically all about how you deal with enemies here. So if you don't want to waste things like sniper rifle bullets on the clears, you could just attract the attention of them and then just use explosive projectiles. And if they get too close, then you can deal with them one at a time with the shotgun, of course. Which is probably my favorite strategy of all, because I like using the shotgun in places where you're not really originally meant to use it. So yeah, that all being said and done, we can continue going back out here. As you can see, the kamikazes are starting to spawn out in the areas where we originally intended to be, so you might want to double back a little bit farther if you're just running back to this area. You just want to keep an eye out for where they're going to be. And since these minor biomechs aren't really paying much attention to me, I'm going to use the sniper rifle on them. And the kamikazes sometimes just don't even run forward and they just like to stand still. Like, those dudes out there. There's even those dudes way out in the distance too that just aren't really paying attention. In fact, I think the kamikazes might have gotten killed by the meteors for some odd reason. Okay. Oh. Yeah, the skeletons have finally found me out. And as you can see, they're doing their same old run around and trying to fuse me shenanigans, but I'm not really up for that, to be perfectly honest. Hell, even the biomechs like to do that for some odd reason. Not really sure why that is, but hey, it's Crow Team's game, not my game, so there is that. And of course, the meteors are still doing some of the work for us, so that can be pretty nice. It can be pretty good to rely on the meteors to kill someone like the kamikazes or the clears that are running towards you, at least chipping off some health of the clears. And that guy suddenly did a U-turn once I shot at him. That was pretty fancy. Oh, yeah. This is exciting, you guys. I'm just standing back here, shooting at enemies from a distance. I mean, eventually, they're gonna catch up to me. Eventually. But for the time being, I'm just gonna keep running backwards. And then eventually they'll catch on to my strategy. And they'll probably learn that I am indeed too smart for them. So, they might just give up. Also, I don't exactly find a use for the flamethrower in this area that much. Sure, it's probably good if, like, the kamikazes or the clears get too close to you, but at the same time, we have enemies like the biomechs right here. What's the point? Hey, what's the point? I'm gonna be cutting that cough out of the video, probably. I do apologize, but I really did not want to have to pause the recording for that, so yeah. I apologize to the courtroom for my mistakes of coughing in this video, but chances are you might not have heard it. Maybe you will, because I'm probably gonna be too lazy to even edit it out, because with a video that's this long, I don't even want to bother. As I said, I do like this level more than the last level, the Grand Pyramid from the first encounter, but I never really said that this level was extremely exciting either. The final boss is pretty good, but still, this is all you're gonna be doing in this part of the level if you're doing things my way. And to be honest, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. I'm missing shots rather embarrassingly. I should probably quit my job and do something that's more worth my time. But, whoever said YouTube was a job anyway, it's just a hobby for me, so. And the kamikazes are still indeed confused. They're probably gonna get killed by the meteors, as they did get killed by them off screen. I'm gonna watch this guy real quick and just see what happens. Until the biomech spawn, in which case I might lose interest and I might have to turn my attention to something else, such as this dude. And maybe use the nah, forget using the cannon, I'm just gonna use the sniper rifle, because it only takes 4 bullets in this game to kill the major biomechs. I believe in Serious Sam HD, it actually does take 5 bullets to kill major biomechs with this thing. We're not playing Serious Sam HD, you guys. So, yeah, there is that. And you over there, just need one more bullet for you. Take care of your... Never mind, let the level take care of your brothers that are just spawning already. And just noticing me, in fact, so that's pretty adorable. And now the kamikazes are indeed starting to catch on to where I am, so that's pretty cool. But there's still no threat, honestly. I mean, they could be a bit more of a threat if I start running into the back of the castle wall, in which case they might have a higher chance of catching up to me, but quite honestly, what do you think they're gonna do? They're just gonna get killed by the level, or they're just going to die by my hands. Now, I think we are nearing the end of this phase of the battle. There are a lot of enemies that spawn here, but it does end eventually. Sam will eventually have a one-liner, but we'll get to that when we get to that, I guess you could say. Right now, I'm just gonna attract the attention of those dudes out there and wait for them to catch up to me so I can deal with them with relative ease using my portable cannon. For the time being, I'm gonna use the pistols. You know, pistols don't get enough love. They're okay weapons, not the best ones you can be using, but I think they're still pretty cool weapons just because dual revolvers, come on man, you have to admit, that's kind of badass. And, wow, I didn't even need to use a cannonball at that dude, he had such little health. Oh well. I made mistakes, but thankfully I'm not the president of the United States, so my mistakes are not exactly ones that can be accounted for that deal with the entire world, really. Yeah. Oh hey, it's a bull. Look at the bull. Look at the bull, you guys. Isn't he so adorable? I'm gonna call him Billy. And Billy's gonna despawn in a minute, unfortunately. But, well. Billy, you are so cute. I'm so glad you ran towards me in hopes of killing me, but such was not the case. So a couple people have asked what game I'm already stumbling over my words. I do apologize for that. A couple of people have been asking what game I'm going to be doing after the second encounter, and I have answered this before, and I have ascertained what it is I'm going to be playing. But for those who don't know, I'm going to be playing Serious Sam 3. BFA. So I hope you look forward to that. Now that run is going to be blind. I do know what happens in Serious Sam 3 for the most part, but since I decided I ever wanted to play that game, I've been trying to forget what happens in that game for the most part and how the levels are designed, so I guess you could say it's gonna be a semi-blind run. I might know where a couple secrets are in those games, but we'll get to that when we get to that, so there's no need for you to concern yourself for the time being, just I am gonna be playing Serious Sam 3. That's really all you need to know. And then after that, of course, I'm gonna be taking a break from Serious Sam because I won't have any more Serious Sam games to play until Serious Sam 4 comes out, which will hopefully be next year as far as I know. I know Crow Team is also working on this other game, which is a first-person puzzle game, I believe, which I guess is sort of like Portal, only it's a lot more creative and a lot more fantasy-styled, as far as I know. And, to be honest, maybe I'll play that, I don't know. I've never really been good with puzzle games to begin with, but I'll see how it goes. I'll see what they produce in the end. And I think it's gonna be pretty cool, because the Crow Team has not worked on a game besides Serious Sam in a really, really long time. Like, originally, they started off with a couple of games like Football Glory, I believe, and some other game, but Serious Sam is what really made them popular, I guess you could say, despite still being considered sort of an underdog development team. Okay, I think there's still a couple more enemies out there. Okay, here we go. We're getting towards the end of it, as you can see, because the lava golems have spawned. And thankfully, I saved a lot of my laser gun ammunition for this situation at hand. So I'm gonna quick save, in case I die. Whoa, that guy got bounced around. I don't think that was supposed to happen. But I have a grenade launcher, so you know what this means. Clumps of clear skeletons become absolute piles of lifeless, or second to lifeless bones, because technically clear skeletons should already be lifeless, but they were brought back to life by magic or something like that. I don't know. The game calls it magic, I think. I mean, originally, the clear skeletons, if you want to know a bit of lore about clear skeletons, basically, they used to be really peaceful warriors who presumably had skin before all the bad stuff happened, and then it just kind of stopped. Mental dumped like 100 tons of napalm on their planet, and then planet Clear became a volcanic wasteland, and then they weren't too happy about that, so they were raised back to life, and now they follow Mental, and that's basically the lore behind Clear Skeletons. If you were really interested in that, it is explained in Serious Sam 2, but we're not playing that game, you guys, and I'm not going to be playing Serious Sam 2 anytime soon, so I apologize. I just don't like that game very much. Okay, I'm almost out of breath, but then again, we are almost at the end of this level, and that's gonna be the end of Serious Sam the second encounter. I cannot believe how long I had to put off playing this level, but I'm so glad that we can still get through it, through and through, with only one death so far, although that's bound to change once I play against the final boss. We shall see, we shall see. For the time being, I'm just gonna take out these Clear Skeletons. And then, you there! That's a very, very cool homing projectile you have, however, I'm not interested in your business. Okay, so now theoretically, we can go ahead and enter the courtyard of the cathedral. However, we still have a couple of Clear Skeletons to deal with, so I might have to deal with that first. And the worst part about these Clear Skeletons is that they really love to still trip you up with their pathfinding. However, we still have plenty of bullets, so should that be the case, we're just gonna go ahead and fire in rapid succession with the minigun. But it takes like 20 bullets to kill one of them, so this is a bad situation. Oh boy. Okay, just shoot you, and then you, and then you. Just deal with these enemies one at a time. Okay, now they're all clumped together, I could probably safely use the minigun. Oh hey Kamikaze, how's it going? Forgot that you would spawn there, good sir, but then again, you don't pose too much of a threat for me. And right now I'm down to basically shotgun ammo and flamethrower ammo. Basically, this fight, again, just revolves around how you conserve your ammo and how you deal with certain enemies. But if you're like me, you probably won't even need to run to the center of this area if you've conserved your ammunition wisely. So, I hope you've taken into account what you're supposed to do. However, I'm still getting shot by things, and I'm a little bit scared about that, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up all this crap. And then, yeah, Sam says, "You bastards! They killed Kenny! How dare you!" It still spawns a couple of enemies out here, as you can see, so there is a little bit of delay. Or that could have just been because I neglected to kill those enemies earlier, and I did not notice them in the distance. But that's pretty much the gist of this fight outside of the cathedral. And I hope you enjoyed that. So now we can probably just stand here for a while and regain some of our health and ammunition that we oh so preciously deserve. Yeah, it's pretty much, this backpack is just gonna keep spawning here for a bit. And hopefully it won't take too long, so I'm just gonna sit here. Shouldn't be any more enemies to deal with now. And finally, the thunderstorm and the meteor shower have ended, and we get a nice, beautiful look at the cathedral. And for some reason, when that spawns, you're standing right inside of it. It doesn't count as being picked up. Oh, hey, there's you guys. I forgot about you. There's also this serious speed power-up that you can pick up, which you can use to get to the other side. Oh my god, I have to kill all the enemies, though. It's important. Like, yeah, that was necessary. But I think another serious speed power-up will also appear. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna pick that up, then we're gonna pick up that serious damage, I think. Or we could do it the other way around, I don't suppose it really matters. And we could probably use it against the final boss. Although I might want to watch the cutscene at the same time, so I don't know. Maybe I won't get a chance, but we shall see when that happens. So, just gonna wait for that serious speed power-up to return. So, come on. Any day now. It should happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't exactly know. All I know is that there should be a serious speed power-up right there. There it is. Okay.